Well, hello there. It's so good to see you. Thank you for stopping by for this twin flame reading. We're just going to get to it, Lord. What are the twin flame energies say today? Wow. Look at this. This one automatically came out, and then those three were hiding. They were trying not to come out, but we saw them anyway, because God always sees the truth, does he not? He always sees the three behind the one, because he's always 3 steps ahead of you. Ain't that beautiful how that's coming into play here? As we look at this twin flame dynamic, we see this power of you as you're looking at this Holy Trinity. And this Holy Trinity could be, God, Jesus, and you, because they're also our twin flames on this 6-dimensional Merkaba here. However, we see this where it's yeah, so we see this where it's this masculine and feminine twin flame, Holy Trinity here. But then when we talked about the 6-dimensional, like this Merkaba here, for example, exactly, Lord. So if I can just show this to you, I'm gonna go, there we go. So there's this Merkaba, right? So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, well, we have a 7 over here, right? So this 1 has to be used 2 times because we have 3 here, we'd have another 3 here, so it has to be a 7. This is the revolving door to these front and backs of these portals here. This revolving door is the ultimate message of what's the next step to take in your twin flame relationship. This twin flame relationship has a block, and the block is right here because that's the card that came out first, and then this is what was hiding behind it. This has to be unblocked to get to this. You can't see this first by overriding this. So I very much see how the front and the back of the Merkaba came to play because this is the center blockage of it. And if this is the center blocking of it, honey, this is a heart chakra blockage. We also can see how very much you have been determined to overwrite divine order because you want divine timing, 222 on the clock there, and that's throwing other things out of balance. You're not approaching it in the right way, therefore it's not coming into play. If you want to think, and 2, 3, 4, if you want to believe that this is yours, then you have to think that now, not during the block, not after the block. You have to think it now to create movement of this block to go away, and then you have access to the cards over here. Divine order and then divine timing. However, there's another whole dimension of this, if we're going to look at front and back of the Merkaba, right, where we don't see is divine selection. Divine selection, divine order, and then divine timing. So right now, you are selecting things that are blocking your order from coming into play at the right time. So we need to go back and reselect. God, how am I not processing this correctly? How can I select the right adaptations for myself to survive in this wilderness of a twin flame relationship? It's very hunter-gatherer. It's like Neolithic revolution, past lives coming through. Whoever this is for, this is very past life. This is very, something happened during the Neolithic revolution that cursed this lifetime. Prior lifetimes until now, maybe that survival of the fittest didn't come into play because there was no survival of the fittest, which is why when we weren't able to escape that threat in the survival of the fittest dimension, those patterns continually repeated in lifetimes, your lifestyle patterns, here we go, to where now in present time, your cellular structures are still messing up the divine selection because you're worried about the divine timing of the divine order. Back at this Neolithic revolution, wouldn't this be a hunter-gatherer worried about the threat so he can't get his own food? It's no different. You're worried about the threat. That's not even there. It is an illusion. The threat is the fact that you're blocking your own self from having what you want, your wildest dreams come true. Welcome to the jungle, right? Yeah. Divine selection, divine order, and then divine timing. Very good, Lord. Let's see what this block is. A polarized 7 of Swords. We see a 7 of 2s here. This is very much a nervous system. This is very much nervous system dysregulation. And if we're going to talk about feeling under threat in the wild and the survival of the fittest and not having the right adaptations, that is still confirmed and showing up here, because 7 of 2s, if we look back at Hebraic gematria, it's going to lead us to a 14. 14 in tarot is the Temperance card. It is the masculine and feminine energies forming the nervous system to come together in alignment. However, in Hebraic Psalm 119 gematria, we're going to go back and reflect on these ancient Hebraic textures. And this Psalm 119 word is semek, and Hebrew translations defines this as the electrical prop. It's like a telephone wire pole gathering other telephone poles along the pasture and the prairie as you're driving down I-90, right? We see where this electrical prop is coming through as a nervous system. And this nervous system, because of the wrong selection of processing to survival of the fittest of the environment you had as a child, still has corrupted your nervous system, bringing it back to this past life of Neolithic revolution, hunter-gatherer. Someone's going to steal my food. I'm going to be killed. I'm going to be hurt. I'm going to be harassed in physical ways. There's a lot of that coming through. Oh God, okay. Part of this block is the physical trauma that has happened to someone. There's very much a trigger warning here. I very much apologize, but sexual assault is coming through. And sexual assault could have happened past in this Neolithic revolution time, to where now those cell structures continue to rewrite that DNA in your flesh now. And we see where that nervous system just continues to repile and repile and repile its defense mechanisms, repile its way to outsource its own thoughts, to overthink. Instead of overthinking with logic, it overthinks emotions. And then you get stuck in your head, and you're sitting on this cloud, and you have all these tools, but you don't know what to do with them, right? Because the replicating of nervousness is not what divine selection of the survival of the fittest wanted for you. It's not what's going to help you get here. So what we have to do is work on the nervous system. We need to work on grounding. We need to work on being able to be that safe place for ourselves in our brain, and that safe place for ourselves in our heart. Now, if you're the twin flame, that's the divine feminine, and you're talking to me, listening to me right now, you are in the lead of this. The masculine's going to sit back here as the caveman he is in the Neolithic revolution. Like, what? How do I do that? Because he has to see it from you. You are the creator. You are the one that's breaking these generational patterns and replicating, because the woman's energy, the feminine energy, is what births the womb. So the man can't birth it. Therefore, he has no idea what he's even doing. He's got to see the ultimate nurturer and naturer to learn from, to observe from, for that energy which belongs to your twin flame to feel it and start replicating it in a different plane, different dimension, to come together. It is so beautiful how amazing the feminine can pull the divine masculine forward in her healing alone, because she is in the lead. If the feminine is waiting for the masculine to have union, it's never going to happen. Okay. If you're the divine masculine listening to me right now, and you can't see your feminine, you can't see your divine feminine, you're separated, whichever it is, look at a higher self, look at a higher feminine in your life that you can observe. Look at a divine feminine through YouTube videos. Educate yourself on what a high, matured, evolved divine feminine looks like. If you would like to reach out and talk to me, I'm here to help you with this, because you will have no idea. Of course, how are you supposed to do it if you can't see it? So I'm here to help. So as we move forward in this 7 of swords, this 7 of 2s, these 2 of 7s really, right? Because we're seeing this dynamic of inside nervous system to outside nervous system. This inside is the feminine, while the outside is the masculine. Psalm 119 are Hebraic gematria textures. The Resh, the sun, is the outside. It is the masculine. But the moon, the mother, is the inside of the Kuf. And she is the one that continues the orbit when there is no light. The sun is the one that continues to orbit when there is no dark. But think about this orbiting structures. And if the feminine is off her orbit, then the masculine's going to be off her orbit. There's never going to be true balance or alignment unless that mother can take over. Very, very beautiful. If the mother can't take over, it's because the father, the wounded masculine energy, has taken over too much of the ecosystem, and now it's just constantly under threat. Anything that comes towards this under threat ecosystem is just going to seem like a more personal attack. So there's a lot here in this defense mechanisms that we can also dissect and see, okay, I defend myself this way, and this is saying because of this. And you're going to be able to backtrack back to the divine selection and reorder the way that you're going to assemble how to get to your timing. So once we can take a look at our nervous system, once we can divide our emotions from the logic, because the way that you've been processing doesn't have a sense of humor, honey, but it's pretty hilarious. The way that you've been processing doesn't have a personality. The way that you've been processing has just been on a steady go. It is only following its instincts. The ego and its energy is just repeated patterns without a higher energy, a higher source, to make a stop and make a new pattern created. Everyone that's failed you in your life, honey, they don't give a fuck when it comes to the fact that you have failed your own self in your own processing, because you created emotions which blocked the way that your neurons will grow. Your neurons don't have feelings, sweetheart. They really don't. So pat yourself on the back, give yourself a hug. It's time to buckle up and get yourself in gear. Let's see what these blocks are. What is unblocking from your highest timeline here? See, oh wow. We've been talking about the Seven of Swords, but we see this Ten of Swords. A Three of Wands is right behind there. But we also have Eight of Wands. Holy shit, I love this so much. Okay, let's talk about this first Ten of Swords. This Seven of Swords is the defense mechanisms. Once we can take those extra 3 steps, we can see, okay, this is everything that I need to gather of the way that I've been thinking, the way that I've been moving forward, because it's only been killing me. It's poisoning me. It's not serving me nothing. Then I need to go back. This Eight of Wands, this communication within myself, 4 and 4, which the 3 is here because you are the opposing 1. You always have a 1 wand with you. So the 4 is there. You just can't see it because you're standing in it. You are the 4 there, the providing, right? You are the one that gets to say, hey, this is what didn't work last time, and this is what I need to try to see if it does work. And I have to continue the process. If we have seen our DNA and our cells replicate in a depolarizing way, then we need to repolarize it and continue replicating it in a positive way to literally balance these out. It's amazing that we have 2 sword cards and 2 wand cards, because on the back sides of what you can't see is the cups and the pentacles. That is the blocks that you've been holding yourself from, honey. In the past and in your childhood, you never learned how to evolve. So are we just going to continue living life like we've never evolved before? But we want our twin flame, which is right here, this Eight of Wands. We want that communication. We want to invest. We want to start a new journey and not have to think about defending ourselves. Very, very, very beautiful. What else is here, Lord? It's very mutual. It's very mutual. This person is just as stuck as you are, because they feel as if they can't do nothing without your work, and then you feel that you can't do nothing without their work. But we're not seeing that, even though we're not together in physical union, or we're coming together possibly too soon, that there's still work being done, even though you can't see it. If you're just sitting there at the fire pit in your jungle of adaptations waiting for a threat to happen, there's still work going on around your campsite, whether it's to complete that threat on you or to protect you from a threat. It is still happening. So Lord, what happens when we can balance out our nervous system, when we can take over the reins of our thoughts and we can have happy energy? Negative depolarized Lovers card. I love this. I love this so much. It's so exciting. It's just beautiful the way that God's showing. Look, rewrite the divine selection and everything you want will come into play. It can't right now because we're still, we're still out of order. We're still wanting things to go a certain way. We're still putting our ego in charge. And how am I ever going to make this work if it's not matching and balancing out and rebirthing the cycle? Then that lover's energy is going to come into play. I love this so much. In Psalm 119, the lovers goes back to the Zine. And the Zine is a big sword. And God is dividing you from what doesn't make you peaceful, like it says in Luke 12:49-51. God is not what brings you the peace. God brings the big sword down and he divides. The sword is also a penis. It divides to replicate, okay? Have to say that. But here comes the big sword, and he divides you from what doesn't make you peaceful. The divine order and selection of the way that you're processing depolarizing happened. Then it has to go and divide again, and divide again, and divide again. It has to continue dividing whatever was replicated wrongly, because God will restore what was stolen and lost from you. And then once that happens, Jesus comes in, the Christ consciousness, the ability to be of self, to protect you from ever having to be divided again in the wrong way. That is what brings you the peace and restoration to your life, is the fact that you took a look at your divine order and the divine selection processing and said, this isn't working for me. The very thing that I am doing is what's keeping me away from my destiny. And what I want to do isn't what I want to be doing because it's keeping me from that. Very much Romans 8 energy here. Romans 7 and Romans 8. Marrying yourself, honey, before you can marry your honey. Okay, honey? But it's here. And God says it's going to be good. Let's see, bottom of the deck. Oh my gosh. Isn't this beautiful that this too is the only major arcana that came out, even though we see the 7, the 10, the 3, and the 8. So the 3 is the Empress. The 7 is going to be the Chariot. So that feminine energy is removing. It is building traction and potential away from those old processing. The 8 is the strength to continue moving forward. And that 10 is the wheel to continue moving forward to help that lover's paradigm. And then we see a depolarized Ace of Cups because it just hasn't happened yet, honey, but it will. And the cup, the heart, that's the energy of it all. The energy of it all. It is here. Their heart has always been yours, and your heart has always been theirs. But the way that we have been going about things is wrong. The way that we have been trying to survive our wilderness is wrong. You know, there's vibes of if you're going to trap an animal and your traps are set perfectly and you're in an area where you just saw fresh tracks, but you're still not trapping anything, are you going to stay in that area or are you going to continue to look for new things to trap? You got to eat your protein, so you got to make sure that you're benefiting yourselves as well. Justice, yes. Yes, absolutely, because this justice that is served to you is what is coming, because God will restore it. The justice is yourselves being able to be reprogrammed in the light of Christ and how God had reprogrammed them for you. So beautiful. Justice. 6 of Cups. I love it so much. The reunion card. I love it. Returning home. Returning home to self first, in your own heart first, and your own love of self. Treating yourself as your own wife. Treating yourself as your own husband. Because when God sees that you can do this to yourself, then he will know that you are ready to do this to your twin. Especially the you feminine, because you have to master this in order for the masculine to learn from you. For the masculine to master it, he has to learn from the mastered feminine. King of Swords. See, the true him coming in with his sword. God's dividing his old nervous system as well, is what we're hearing. And Princess of Cups, because you make him feel his youngest energy. There's very much a secret message here for someone. That if you didn't know, if you weren't sure if your divine masculine was awakened to the twin flame theory, and the fact that you are his twin flame, he knows now. He knows now. That's what this is. He knows now. See, yeah, 4 of Pentacles and the Death card. See, and the Fool. The Empress, which we saw right there with the 3 and Judgment. Shut up. Look at all those major arcanas. Boom, 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 boom. Exactly. He knows. He knows. He knows because ever since he met you, That's the calmest he's ever felt. That's the most young he's ever felt. He never wants that feeling to end. He doesn't want that to die. That's why he holds on to it so much. But then when he holds on to it so much, he back does the same damn thing you're doing. So you're both subtracting instead of adding. And when you both can add, you'll come together to multiply. Beautiful. I love it so much. I hope this has brought clarity for you. Reach out if you have any questions or if you would like a reading. Love you. Wounds into light.